Yo, what's going on, everyone? Extinction just dropped, and we've been scouting for the last few hours trying to find the best 5 rat holes that I could for you guys. And here's what we came up with. So, without wasting any time, let's jump into spot number 5. We're going to put these from the worst to the best. So, number 1 will be what I would consider the best spot on this list. Our number 5 spot comes in at 28, 18.4. This spot was actually already on ASE, so I didn't really have to find it. I already knew where this one was. It is going to be at the Sunken Forest entrance. Right there is where you go down. And you actually can fit a replicator and an Indie Forge in here, which is super nice, but it is still really small. I probably wouldn't build in here as a full 6-man, but if you're just a few people, 2 or 3-man, spot will probably work. With the way turrets work on ASA, it's pretty easy to make any spot good because you shouldn't be placing turrets on structures anymore. You should just be placing them on terrain. Makes this spot pretty solid, and right above you, if you don't have transmitter unlocked yet, there is going to be one of these guys. A city terminal, where you can craft unstable element and dust, which is super good. And you can use the gen from your actual base to power turrets up there to protect that, and craft unstable element right at your base. With that being said, let's move on to spot number 4. Alright, coming in at our number 4 spot, we're actually going to be in the Sunken Forest now. The coordinates to this spot are going to be 7.2 and 2.9. You're going to, if you're on the ground or below, you'll see this tree has a bunch of vines coming off of it. Kind of use this as a mile marker as well. But if you just come to these exact chords, it's probably going to be your best chance of finding it. Just go to 7, 2.8, and then fly straight up. Then you got this ledge, which is nice. This is going to be the only rat hole that actually has a spot for outside defense. But the downside of this is replicators and Indie Forges do not fit in the rat hole, so these will have to go outside. The entrance isn't a very small entrance, but it's not very large either. And the upside to it is as soon as you go in, all the turrets will be right above you. So I would just litter the ceiling with turrets and make it rain down on anyone that tried to come in. This is probably going to be the biggest entrance. Well, the biggest part of the entrance is over here. So you want to have a lot of your turrets prioritizing right here. But then you'll come over the lip, and this is where you'll have your base. It's another smaller one, which is why you can't fit Indie Forges or replicators in here. Fit a good amount of vaults though, fabricators, smithies, chem benches. Still have a lot of room in here. And if you're online, you should still easily be able to defend this. This ledge is also just a huge bonus, because you can build like a whole net right here, or a cage, I guess. And it's up high. So they'll have to use like a Quetzal or Fortnite over. But with that being said, let's move on to spot number 3. Coming in at our number 3 spot will be over at Greenob. Pretty much a straight shot up this ramp, and you'll end up at 51.2, 39. This one has 2 entrances, but they're right next to each other. So your same defenses will defend both sides. It's pretty much attacker's choice on where they want to come from. This one is a crouch. You'll crouch right in, and you'll get beamed by what I would assume would be a wall right here. Just a wall of turrets. This is the other entrance. You got the swamp. There are beaver dams right here, and Sarcos. Small little swamp. But then if you go straight from the swamp up here, you'll lead to the same spot. This rat hole isn't very big, but I wouldn't keep any loot over here. If you are playing unofficial, more than likely this will not be allowed. But if you want to take the risk, you actually can double this rat hole as a Pelagornis rat hole. You can fly over to the other side, which if you are going to use this, this is where I would keep my loot. because Pelagornis rat holes are overpowered, which is why most servers don't allow them. But we have vaults here, sleeping pods, chem benches, fabricators, smithy. Cannot fit an indie forge or replicator on either side. Here's what that entrance looked like. You actually might be able to crouch there as well. Might actually not be a Pelagornis rat hole. Let me try that for you guys. Okay, so yeah, you can crouch to the other side. This is not a Pelagornis rat hole. You guys don't have to worry about getting banned on any server, unless if they don't allow crouches. If your server allows crouch spots, then you can build here. Check your server rules before taking this spot, as it is going to be a very risky spot, or you can just stay in this front room. That works as well. Alright, let's move on to our number 2 spot. At our number 2 spot, once again, this space spot was actually on ASE as well. This one was pretty common. This was most commonly known as the 50-50 rat hole on Extinction. Was super broken, and I can only imagine how much more broken it's going to be now that you can just place turrets on walls. So it's going to be over by the swamp again, actually right across from where the other one was. The other one was right there. And then you're just going to go across the swamp and in between these two buildings. The chords to the entrance are 50.6 and 47.1. And from the ground, it is a straight shot up. And I was seeing if a turtle could actually fit through the entrance. It cannot. But it gets perfectly stuck at the bottom. So if you come up here to the top, where all these turrets are, and you throw turtles on, you can actually just stack turtles all the way up here. And as they kill one turtle, the next turtle will fall down. And they'll have to kill like 10 turtles just to even start soaking, which is a huge time killer, having to kill turtles or stegos. So the fact that a turtle perfectly fits there is just phenomenal. Then you can scale this whole wall with turrets, and you got 2 spots for loot. The first one will be down here. I didn't build anything down here because I probably would keep Tames down here. We'll see if an indie forge fits actually for you guys. Indie forge might fit here. Okay, so it does look like you can get an indie forge in here. So that probably means you can also get a replicator right here. Replicator is shorter but wider. Let's go ahead and test it out. Yeah, so you actually, at the bottom, you can get a replicator and indie forges. That's awesome, because the top, you cannot get an indie forge or a replicator. Oh no, you can get one indie forge. I guess you could actually line this with indie forges, but then you have no room for loot. And up top is where I would keep the loot, because then they have to deal with turrets from above the whole way up to your loot. And then down below, I guess, is where I would do my crafting station. It does have a little room down here as well. If you're on a server with propagators, you can just have all of your breeding right here in the propagators. So this rat hole is extremely strong, but we'll go ahead and move on to our number 1 spot. Alright, so coming in at our number 1 spot, we're going to be back in Sunken Forest. The chords are going to be 23.4 and 7.3. Some landmarkers you can use would be this giant waterfall. Comes down into a smaller waterfall. You got the fallen obelisk and the unpowered fallen obelisk. Then it brings you to this waterfall. From there you can look straight up. You'll have this rat hole. It's pretty hard to find without the tech gen here. But if you go to that giant waterfall, you also have this plateau that is right across from the rat hole. I would spam this off so that way no one fobs on it. And then you can come up here. You can fit indie forges down below as well, but I would not. I would probably put like your tech gen right there and then volt drop it. And then you just litter this whole inside with turrets. This is most likely going to be the spot that I take on my current Extinction server, as you have room for decent amount of indie forges in here, a bunch of turrets. You can fit replicators, probably fit like 3 or 4, and you could kind of layer this multiple rows of ceilings, which then will allow you to put like a loot room, then your crafting room, and maybe cryo storage. You could probably do a cryo floor as well. Alright, so that's going to wrap up today's video. Hopefully you guys got some information out of it. Maybe one of these base spots can be your base, and hopefully none of them get patched. So, good luck everyone, and have a good one.